friends, welcome to our midweek moment. Pastor Nicole here. So glad you clicked on. Well, this week we wrapped up our series, Be Encouraged, How to Walk with People Through Difficult Circumstances. And we focused on how to be hope in the life of somebody who's going through trying times. I think that this series has been a reminder to me to keep my eyes open for how I can be hope to somebody else. You know, the world is a tough place, and we are going through so much, and there are always people who are going through so much more than we are. So it's important for us, as we seek to be hope in the world, to be reminded that there is work to be done, not just in the lives of those in our immediate circles, friends and family, but in the greater world. There is so much need for hope. And there's such a need for hope because evil is rampant. There's so much evil in the world, so many terrible things, so many people suffering needlessly. And so as Christians, it is our call to be hope in the world. And that can feel like, how? How can I be hope to somebody who's suffering halfway across the world? I think it starts in ripples, and I think it starts with those close to us. When we can be hope to somebody in our life, in our neighborhood, in our community, it starts to ripple out from there. Because when we are hope in somebody else's life, it brings us such joy. It brings us such purpose, a sense of purpose, of accomplishing something so good, of accomplishing what God has called us to be. And so then we can see that it starts to ripple out. You know how it is. You've probably experienced, somebody paying for your meal ahead of you at the drive-through, and just that little bit of hope, of a little bit of joy, ripples through you, and then you pass it on to the next person. Maybe not even the next person behind you, but something else in your day that you share some goodness with somebody else, right? Those are signs of hope in our world, and those are so desperately needed. I think it is so important for us to remember as Christians that we bear that hope, that it is real, that it is needed, that it is powerful. It is not a little simple thing. It is big and amazing when we share hope. As Christians, we have a huge gift of knowing that whatever we experience in life, whatever hardships we experience in life, the worst things that we experience are not the last things that we experience, right? Because we have the hope of our life to come. So even if we suffer greatly here on earth, we know that someday we get to go to heaven to be with Jesus. And it's going to be wonderful. It's going to be joy and love and peace. And it's just going to be, everything that we hope it will be. Our job as Christians is to share that kind of hope with others, to remind them that they too have that hope, that the worst thing that they experience in life is not the last thing. It never is. I was thinking about a line in the sermon that I share kind of towards the end that said, "The world has plenty of critics. What it needs is people of hope." And I think that critics, being a critic, is kind of the antithetical to being hope, because it focuses perhaps on the wrong thing. Now, I'm not saying that things don't need called out. I'm not saying that we don't speak up against the evils of this world, but what I am saying is that it is too easy to be a critic these days. It's too easy to just kind of bomb people with our thoughts and our opinions and then walk away, right? Especially on social media. Instead, what would it look like if we focused on being people of hope? What would it look like if we focused on sharing the goodness of God, the hope of God with others? I think that it might make more of a difference than we could ever understand. So as we think about being hope and really kind of the fullness of the series of how to be present with people, how to be compassionate, how to be hope, I hope that you will take away a reminder that it's hard out there. It is hard. The world is tough and everybody is carrying something. And some people have it worse than others, right? And so if we can find a way to share the hope of Christ with others, I think it will go a long way to alleviate somebody's suffering. If we can just sit and be with somebody when they're going through a hard time, if we can just be a listening ear and remind them that they're not alone, that God is with them, that we are there with them, that can go a long way to helping somebody get through whatever they're going through. So I hope that you will take this series to heart and that you will go and share the goodness of God with others, especially those who are suffering and going through a difficult time. Find a way to share that hope of Christ with others. And we'll see y'all next time. Join us for our new series. It starts on Sunday, though. It is called Churchy Words, Learning the Vocabulary of Faith. And we're going to look at all those weird words in the church that we're like, I've heard it, I don't really know what it means. So join us for that in person or online. And we'll see y'all next time. Bye.